Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to show you something that no computer hardware toolbox should be without. It's an M.2 NVMe SSD docking station with an extra feature. Stay tuned. FIDECO reached out to me and asked if I would like to test this dual slot SSD docking station, and I want to thank them for sponsoring this video. Please check out their website where you can find a lot of cool stuff like SSD docking stations, SSD enclosures, USB hubs and more. Let's have a look what's inside this box. First there is the docking station. Let me open the plastic bag. So there's also a protection layer on here. I will remove this later. Then what's next? Next is the USB cable. USB-C to USB-A with an adapter, or USB-C to USB-C. And there is the power supply with the adapter for the European outlets. So this should go here, or see, yeah, this should work like so. And there is also a manual which comes in, let's see, in English, in Chinese, I guess, I'm not sure, I'm sorry. And it's also in German, that's great. And there is French, Italian, Spanish. What else do we have here? That's great. Let's also have a look what's written on the box. Yeah, it's from FIDECO. Model number is M.2 It's USB 3.2 Gen 2 X2 standard, that's 20 gigabits. Dual M.2 NVMe SATA SSD docking station for SSDs with the M key and the B plus M key. To give you an example what B and M key means, here's a picture. Forget about this B key SSD here. This is an M key SSD. There are 5 pins and then you have the slot, and this is a B and M key SSD. You have 5 pins, then comes the slot, and from the right hand side you have 6 pins and the slot. Let's have a closer look on the dock itself. First I will remove this protection layer. On top we have the 2 slots for SSD A and B. We have the clone button. There are some indicator lights for SSD A and B, and there is also an indicator for the cloning process from 25 to 100%. At the bottom there is a nice rubber layer so it doesn't move around on your desk. And on the back side we have the on-off switch. Hey, focus, come on. We have the USB-C connector and we have the DC 5-volt in plug. Let me plug this in. Unfortunately, the cable that comes with the dock is a little bit short and it does not reach to my Mac, which is a little bit higher up here. So I'm using my own USB-C cable. I hope this will meet the standard and we will get full speed. And then let me plug in the power supply. And I also have an old SSD on hand. That's an old, I guess it's a Samsung, from a 9-year-old laptop computer. And let's have a closer look how this fits in here. No, I think it's the other way around. Let me move this up a little bit so you can see it better. So this is the way it goes into the dock. And here we go. This is how it looks like. Now let's turn it on. Okay, the LED is blinking, so the SSD is recognized. And let's switch over to the disk manager to see if the computer is recognizing the disk. And here is disk manager. In German it's Festplattendienstprogramm. It's a German macOS, of course. And here is our docking station, and here is our disk. Let's open this in Finder. And here we are in Finder, and obviously it's working because we can see the Windows folder. We can see all the system files and folders. There's system32, wow 64, and so on. All the system files are here. Yeah, as I said, this is from an old Windows laptop. Let me turn it off again, and I have another disk here. This is a 1 terabyte Cruzial SSD. I'm not sure if there is some data on. Let me put this into the dock. And let's turn it on again. Okay, the dock is recognizing it. And I can see there is something showing up in Disk Manager. Give me a second. And back in Disk Manager, here is our dock again, and here is the 1 terabyte Crucial. Now let's try to clone the old disk. It's a 256 gigabyte SSD. Let's clone it to the 1 terabyte SSD. First, let's turn off the dock and remove the 1 terabyte. This one is the target, and this goes in here like so. And the source SSD, the 256 gig, goes in to slot A like so. And for cloning, we have to remove the USB cable, so there is no connection to the computer. Let's turn it on again. And now it's in clone mode. Let's see what happens if we press clone. No, nothing, because we have to push and hold the button. Okay, nothing does happen if I push and hold the button for 5 seconds, as it's written in the manual. But I guess this is because an incompatibility of the two drives here. This is an old drive and this is a new one. Let's try 2 new drives. This is also a 1 terabyte SSD, but in a smaller form factor. Let's plug it in and turn it on again. Let's see what happens. And hey, success. Now both drives are recognized, and yeah, now it's clear. The old drive and the new one are not compatible. Let's try to clone this. So push and hold the button for 5 seconds. Yeah, and the cloning process begins. Let's see how long it takes. I'm curious about the speed. Yeah, that's a real time test. Okay, we see some progress. We are at 50% right now. In the meanwhile, I can have a look into the manual. Come on, you can make it. I've got time. Hey, and we are at 75%. In my opinion, it doesn't matter if this takes 5 or 10 minutes longer, because you can leave it alone. You plug the disks in, you press clone, and it starts cloning. You can leave it alone, and yeah, then you go for a coffee, and when you come back, it's finished. That's great. So you don't need a computer. That's fantastic. So maybe 2 or 3 minutes more. I have to find another one of these old SSDs. Maybe I can clone from an old one to an old one. I will give this a try. But I don't have a second of these drives here on hand. This is the only one I have. But maybe at work I will find another one and then I will give it a try. Yeah, after this cloning test, I will do a speed test on the computer. Okay, I think we are almost there. Maybe a minute or so. And we are reaching 100%. So this means it's somewhere between 75 and 100%. We are getting closer. Yeah, as always in IT, the last 10% or so can take forever. I think we are almost there. I wanted to do this in real time because I want to show it to you. It's not fair to interrupt the video in between and just show you the beginning and the end, and then you have no idea how long it takes to clone a disk. Once again, both disks are 1 terabyte in size. Hey, and we are done. So to check if the source and the target disk are now the same, I plugged in the source into slot A, or it was already on slot A, but I plugged in the computer cable and turned it on again. Let me switch over to Finder. And here's the disk. There is one folder called DSIM, and there are some video files on here. Now let's check the other disk. Let's turn this off again, then remove this one, plug the other one in, turn it on again. Yeah, it's online. Let's switch to Finder. And yes, I can confirm everything has been cloned from the source to the target disk. Now let's do a speed test, and therefore I will delete the disk or format it. Let's call it 1 terabyte, and I format it in exFAT. That's okay because I want to use it also on a Windows PC. And well, we are done. Now let's do a speed test. And here is disk speed test. I plugged in the docking station with the original cable because with my cable the speed was really slow. I did this off camera, and now I want to show you the speed with the cable that comes with the docking station. Let's hit start, and here we go. With my cable, the speed was around 50-ish megabytes a second, which is really slow. Let's try this for some seconds. Maybe 1 or 2 more turns, and then I will stop it. Okay, you get the idea. That's a nice tool, isn't it? Cloning SSDs becomes very convenient, and also if you have to move data from one of your SSDs to your computer, this becomes very handy. That's it for today. Thank you, folks. Thank you, FIDECO, and have a nice day. Bye-bye. Till next time.